for Education Studies to speak to us on this matter. Doc, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, Sammy. And it's my pleasure.
From 2018 and from City Newsroom, we recorded these incidents: 2018, 2019, 2022, 2023, 2024, and this year, 2025. What are we getting wrong?
Thank you once again. Sammy, before I try to answer your question, I want to say that our leaders don't solve problems. In this part of the world, in this country, we elect people, we put people in certain positions, and they don't solve problems. Because if you look at what you are even listing, it means that this thing has been with us, like most of our problems in the country. They always happen every year, and we will come back and try to explain this issue to the people. And then the following year, we have this. School placement is not something that is an emergency. No, that as they are doing this, next year around this time, we are going to have school placement. So what do our leaders do? What plans do they put in place to be able to think through and see that this is the situation that happened last year? We are not going to we are going to work to ensure that we are not going to experience the same thing this year. We don't do that in this country, and that is the truth. I think what we are not doing right is about 2 or 3 things. The first one is that I don't still understand the reason why students are made to select schools before they write the exams. The problem is that people are seen as very good students, and all of us, you have kids, their performance in school normally it seems to suggest that they are very good. But writing an examination is a different ball game altogether. So with that expectation and aspiration, we select good schools for our students. We want our students to be in the Infantry Pains. We want our students to be in the Presec, Wesley Girls, and so on and so forth. But then when they go and write the exam, their rare performance is shown. By that time, they have already selected a school. So that child who has selected Infantry Pain as number 1 has selected, let's say, Agri as number 2, National as number 3, will miss out on all these 3 schools and will end up in a school that he just put there because he is supposed to choose one school around. And that is the problem. So I don't know why the ministry, we have been doing this, we have been going through this process over the years, and we are doing the same thing, and the same problem keeps coming up. Why is the ministry not trying to do other things? Do something else by asking the students to select the schools after the results have been released? People will talk about the delay in the results and everything. It's about planning. If we are able to, if students are selecting schools based on their performance, you will know that they will be a little bit circumspect, and they will know that they will not select schools that their performance do not match. A child who gets 19 will not select a school like Prempeh College. A child who gets 12 will not select a school like Wesley Girls because he knows that, and then on top pick science because she knows that she will not get the admission. That is the first thing that we need to do. The second thing that we need to do is to start, and I've said this several times, we need to start asking our ministers of education to account to us how many category A schools have they been able to create when they came into the Ministry of Education. We have around 60 to 70 category A schools over the years, and that is the same schools that people would also always want to go to have admission to. Why are ministers of education, why are leaders in the education sector not creating more category A schools? Why are we not ensuring that the other schools in category B are upgraded? Because every parent wants the child to be in a school where he feels that he's going to get quality education. So it doesn't surprise me that parents are moving in there and they want their children to be in category A school because everybody wants the child to be in a good school. So it is a duty of the leader, the manager of our education system, to make sure that schools are having the requisite resources. And when a student is taken there, the student knows that at least I'll get quality education and I'll also be somebody in the near future. So if you cannot create more category A schools, you put pressure on the little category A schools that you have. Again, there's a system of affiliation. And I remember the former Minister of Education talking about this. I've said this in some of the articles that I've written. Why are we not also affiliating schools? Let's assume like Presec should be affiliated to a school in one of these rural areas, so that when it comes to donation and resource allocation, you know that all students of Presec will definitely make sure Presec is doing well. Sometimes they get so many of the things that even sometimes they already haven't. So if you have an affiliate school, that those kind of excess resources can be now channeled to the affiliate school. There is transfer of knowledge. There is that kind of collaboration between the teachers in this category school and that affiliate school. These are things that we can do. It wouldn't take us anything to be able to push these schools up to a certain level that we believe that it will be able to and reduce the pressure on the category A schools. So this is what we are not doing right, and I will not be surprised that we will sit down, explain the things away, and next year we'll come back to meet the same problem.
But there are many have also said that the system, the school placement system, the system is okay. The system is fair. It does what it's supposed to do. But then the people who always want to manipulate it and get their way with it, that's what is causing the challenges that we have at the moment.
Yes, but these people report to somebody. So I don't know the people have now been sent to the CSPSS, but I know that definitely the core staff will still be there. There might be one or two changes there, but the core staff will be there. What was the experience of these core staff last year? What were the mechanisms that was put in place, or what was the briefing that was given to the new leadership, so that the current leadership would make sure that getting into school placement, we are not going to face the same problem again. It's because some people also exploit the system, as you are saying, and they get opportunities to do that and so on and so forth. So if we are able to make these things so transparent, you don't have to wait for parents to walk to a support center and then you explain to them for them to understand. We need to make these things so transparent that the parents would understand and appreciate that this is what is really going on. Because there are instances where parents are complaining that my child got this, he didn't get this school, but another child got this and he's got that school. My child did better than this person. And all these things boils down to the explanations that we will give and to make sure that the system is transparent enough for everybody to know that he is being treated fairly. If you don't do that, people will definitely troop to your center, and even though they've been placed, they will ask you to replace them.
Exactly the point, because I'm even getting a text message here from a parent who says that, Sami, how can you compare this? A student gets 305 and gains admission to Achimota against a student who chose the same program and gets 420, but then was denied admission at the same Achimota for the same program.
Exactly. So how would you explain this? Earlier on, I heard this talking to the PRO for the ministry.
Yeah.
So how will you explain this to a parent to understand? It's not fair. It is not fair. So if you have a merit-based system that you have created and there's transparency and there's fairness, then this child who got 4.0 something is supposed to be placed in Achimota than the child who got 3.0 something. And because they are doing the same program, you can't say that maybe one takes science and another person wants to do visual arts. That would have been a different situation. But if they are all going for general arts, and you are doing a merit-based system, it means that you put them on one scale. The 4 will come before the 3. So why is that person not getting that school? That is the point I'm making. There is no fairness. There's lack of transparency. People manipulate the system for their personal gains. And all these things boil down to the one who leads the system. If you are poised enough to say that this year I'm going to ensure that there is minimal complaints about school placement, and that whoever is in charge, if you are not able to do this, you are going to be fired the next day. I hope that we are going to have a very good result. But no, this is Ghana. Everybody does whatever he likes because there's no accountability in the system, and we have made parents leave their work, go and queue for a whole day. Some people are queuing for the third day to just rectify some of these things that could have been done without any headache. Nobody will be held responsible.
Doc, is the protocol system also to be blamed for what's happening?
I think that we always have a percentage for protocol. We just have to make sure that it's not abused. And I sometimes I agree with the protocol system. For example, in Cape Coast, where I am, you look at Wesley Girls. Wesley Girls is situated in the community. You would definitely want the children in that community to all benefit from that particular school. So it's a fair system. Again, there are certain schools in rural Ghana that the best students will get something like 20. But it is the best student. Such a student, if you put him in any school, he is likely to excel. So you do these things for these kinds of students and situations to ensure that there's there's some equity in the placement system. So I am for that. But we should not let it be abused. It shouldn't be abused. We should make sure that the protocol is reserved for those who really need it.
Doug, finally, before I let you go, a texter is asking, is it possible we can go back to the old system where we allow the schools to choose the students themselves?
I would say that in 2025, where the manual system is 2025, where technology is the order of the day, in 2025, where artificial intelligence is taking over the world, I don't think that the best answer would be to go back to manual system. It's had its challenges, and I think that it is us who are not doing the right things. We are not using technology to solve our problems. And as I indicated earlier on, in Ghana, leaders don't solve problems, because this should be a problem that a leader in charge of the education system should be targeting to solve. And I hope that next year we are not going to experience it. So we shouldn't go back. We should leverage technology to solve our problems. We should ensure that there's transparency and there's fairness. We should expand, we should increase the number of category A schools that we have. We should introduce the affiliate system where educational resources trickle down to other schools that technically will not have. And more importantly, I propose that we should have a situation whereby students are allowed to select their schools after they have seen their BEC results.
Doug, thank you very much for your time. Dr.
You're
Peter
welcome.
Anti is the Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Let's read some of your WhatsApp messages. One says, good evening, Sammy.